Hello everyone. My name is Jayanta Vijay Singh and I'm the convener of Rainforest Protectors of Sri Lanka. Whether we like it or not, it has to be said that the corona is a blessing on environment. We know very recently David Attenborough said at one of the conferences that almost 90% of our mammals are either humans or domesticated cattle and other mammals. And he also said that more than 70% of the birds now are domesticated. He said that previously nature controlled the way we live, but today the humans are controlling the way the nature behaves. Coronavirus have proved that it is still the nature that determines the way we live. And why I said coronavirus is a blessing on the environment, whether we like it or not, is the fact that if you look at the key component of our environment, that is air, and that is water, and that is soil, are all actually are benefited and in fact regenerating, with a lot of countries being locked down and curfew being imposed. Globally, we have about 40 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide emitted annually every year. Number one being China, number two being United States, and there are other countries such as Russia, Japan, and all of these countries, India, that are emitting large amount of carbon dioxide. And with coronavirus, a lot of these emissions have drastically reduced. In China alone, their emissions were cut by almost half because of the coronavirus. It's pretty much same in United States now and in most other countries. When we look at the sectors that emits more amount of carbon, for instance the cattle farming, the poultry industry, the animal, that is the meat industry mainly, is no longer operating at its scale that it used to operate, and the amount of carbon that it used to emit doesn't exist anymore. Take the example in Sri Lanka, it's only very little, small number of people who consume chicken and other things today. You look at the power, energy industry, energy sector, you look at the transportation sector, all these sectors are pretty much based on fossil fuel. And today, because the demand for energy has receded, gone down so fast, that these sectors do no longer emit the amount of carbon they used to emit before. So therefore, we have less and less and less emissions. We have adapted to a consumption pattern now because we are locked down and because this is the curfew, that we are only consuming an essential consumptions, which is a great thing. Our consumption has been so overrated or so unnecessary to a certain, so unconscious that we were not consuming things consciously, and now we are consuming more consciously. Another sector which emits a lot of pollutants is the garment sector, that is the clothing industry. And Sinhala Hindu New Year was there, but no one of us went and bought all these fancy clothing, and we didn't spend our entire salary on this. So, which is a good thing in a way, because that industry itself is so polluting. And if you look at this industry in Sri Lanka in terms of its energy requirement, whether it's their boilers that are running, whether there are effluents that are being basically dumped or emitted, that is, we are talking of water pollution, we are talking of air pollution and all of that. So our consumption has changed so much, which is a blessing, and we are starting to live a life that is more environmentally friendly. And our transportation, now we had how many 500,000 vehicles come into Colombo every single day, and now we have pretty much 90% of it is now don't come to Colombo anymore, and that has resulted a cleaner air. We know how polluted Kandy City is, but today Kandy City is no longer a polluted city. Even the Kalani River, Central Environmental Authority said that the Kalani River is the cleanest after a long time now. Why? There is massive number of companies, more than 500 industries directly emitting their wastewater and effluents to the Kalani River, and that is the water that we used to drink. And the hoteliers putting up their kitchen waste to toilet waste to everything to Kalani River, mixing on certain points of this Kalani River from Kitulgala towards Kakadupata, all throughout, but it's no longer. So it's a blessing on our environment, and the air we breathe are getting cleaner, and the wildlife have found a new freedom, and they are roaming so freely, and the birds you never saw in Colombo urban areas now starting to come here. We need to acknowledge the fact that the way we consume wasn't right. The focus we were giving to our environmental conservation and how our consumption, what we should consume or not, our wildlife, especially wildlife trade, meat industry itself is a big polluting industry. Whether it's methane, carbon dioxide or anything else, or water footprint, energy footprint, transportation footprint, irrespective of all of that, it's a massive contributor. So we need to rethink about our consumption. I think this coronavirus lockdown has given us such a vast knowledge, opportunity, and a learning for us to think what we have to do. Paris Summit and Sustainable Development Goals tried to achieve a lot of things. They weren't going in the right direction. The world wasn't going in the right direction unless for coronavirus. But we never know when this is going to be over. Are we going back to the same lifestyle and this polluting ways of life or excessive consumption? We shouldn't go back. So therefore, my request is that let's learn from coronavirus, the opportunities it has presented. The world has healed, the planet has healed, the environment has healed. We don't have deforestation activities that we used to fight all across the country. We don't have all these soil cutting to sand mining to illegal quarries to destruction due to quarries to all of that. We don't have water pollution issues getting reported like it used to be earlier. We don't have poaching activities as much as we could we used to hear. We don't have the human elephant conflict that much anymore. We don't have so much of it has got reduced, and we no longer hear forests being burned down at the rate that it used to be before the coronavirus. We still have certain numbers. During coronavirus situation in Sri Lanka, we had 3 critical issues, that is gem mining, that's number 1, and then number 2, burning down of our forests, number 3 is treasure hunting and other small deforestation activities under the guise of various agricultural activities. But 90% of our environmental problems have got solved because of this curfew and the corona situation. And that is why I say corona, in fact, not only a great blessing on the environment, but also possibly the best environmentalist we ever seen for a long time. Like I said, no amount of conference of parties, no amount of agreements, treaties, and protocols did what coronavirus could do. So let's be wary of it. Let's not go back to the normal ways of living, and let's learn from coronavirus and the opportunities presented. It is still the environment or the nature is still determining the way how we should live, and we are not dictating terms on environment. We can never no longer, and we will not be able to sustain ourselves if we do so. Thank you very much.